What up, everyone, and welcome to UFC Vegas 27 watch-along live stream here on Fightful Pro Wrestling. Shaquille Madjouri joined again by Steven Jensen. How's it going, dude?
It's going well, It is my 33rd birthday today, so I am celebrating my birthday, watching some fights with you, and then I got some buddies coming over right after this, and we're gonna hang out and drink some beer. So it'll be
Congratulations, lucky you. My presents will be my birthday present to you this year.
Absolutely. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man. A little on the sleepy side, but this ridiculous fight between Justin Tafa and Jared Vanderaa, enough to wake anyone up. There's just blood pouring all over the place.
Bloodbath.
Yeah, and we're started a little early. It's supposed to be the co-main and main, but obviously this fight's running a little long. The only point in keeping people waiting. And hey, if you're here to gauge our reaction, I have a hunch at this rate we're going to see a KO.
Yeah, I think so. Looks like a death match in that octagon right now, dude. With all that boy.
Shout out to Nick Gage.
Yeah, there you go, MDK.
You're already getting some happy. We'll throw up a freebie this one time because it's a happy birthday.
Thank you. Alvaro, thank you very much.
Guys, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, leave a thumbs up on this video. A little extra legwork. Head over to Fightful MMA on YouTube and do the same. If other than maybe a happy birthday message, if you want your statement read on the air, a little super chat donation goes a long way. Leave $1, leave $1,000. I've got my preference, but it is all good in the hood. People are asking, and we always kind of start these. Give me just your quick predictions for the main and co-main tonight, and I'm sure we'll dig deeper into it as those fights roll on.
My quick predictions are Garbrandt and Xiaonan. Is that the correct pronunciation, Xiaonan?
Xiaonan, yeah. I think that would be it.
Yeah, I don't want to sound dumb and be like Xiaonan Yan, because I know that's not it, but I'm pretty like Xiaonan, I think is about as close as I can get. But I'm really high on her, so I'm looking forward to those two a lot.
For those who watched 1-2 Punch or Friday podcast or Fightful, a little bit of continuity there, Steven, but we won't get into it today. I will go with Font, but I was talking to Nick Baldwin of The Score about this on 1-2 Punch. I'm not confident how this fight goes, but I think I'm going to learn a lot from it. Rob Font is one of these guys where it feels like every time he gets a setback, the next peak is even better, right? He'll kind of enter that top 15 range. He'll lose, but then he hits the top 10. Loses, then he hits the top 5. He's long, he's rangy, very good striker, doesn't leave himself too open. So we'll see what adjustments and what improvements Cody has made. I think this is the fight to show us whether or not Cody Garbrandt is legitimately still in the title conversation.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. And his back's got to kind of be against the wall a little bit because he was going to go to flyweight, but they got to figure out with the draw between Moreno and Figueiredo, like he got put on the sidelines. So like he wasn't going to get a title shot. And now he kind of has to prove, like, should you still get the title shot after the winner?
Exactly.
And also, like, if that's not going to happen, are you still a top 3, top 5 contender at bantamweight? So like it's like, if he loses, then he isn't in the bantamweight title picture, and he probably isn't going to get a title shot at featherweight. So
I'm so sorry. I am shocked that these two guys can take these kind of shots at this weight class. Both men bleeding, and oh god, if you caught me smiling, it's because of this terrible chat from Joel Pearl. Shout out to Joel, who says, "I'm more of a sans serif kind of guy," in response to Rob Font in the main event. This is sort of my fantasy booking for how this is going to play out. I think if Cody wins tonight, and that's a big if, but if Cody wins tonight, I can see him dropping down to flyweight because right now the bantamweight title picture is a little clogged up, right? You've got Sterling, Yan running it back, then you still have Sandhagen and Dillashaw get through. So I see if Garbrandt wins this fight, he goes down to flyweight, fights Davison, and then if he wins that fight, I think by then the dust settles and you have yourself a Cody Garbrandt stepping back up to bantamweight for a super fight with whoever that champion is.
Yeah, I think that all makes sense.
Yeah, but if that's going to happen, I don't know. But here's, like, right now, if you'd ask me today, who wins, Cody Garbrandt or Davison Figueiredo? Dude, I think Davison knocks him the F out. But I think this Rob Font fight will tell us if Cody is calm enough in the eye of the storm, if he can keep that hands up, if he can avoid being that wild guy, because the Sun South fight didn't give me enough information. I think this one will.
Yeah, and also the Munoz fight as well. Like those back-to-back fights he had where he basically in the Sunsao fight, he was like back against the wall, then threw like that looping hook like right at the end of the round.
It looked like he picked up like a wrench off the floor and just hucked it to his jaw.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just lights out. And the fight before that, him and Munoz basically just like decided to bite down on the mouthpiece and just swing for the fences. Like they just both threw game plans out the window and just swung for it. And it made for a really entertaining fight for the time that it lasted, but Garbrandt was on the wrong end of that. But his only other 2 losses are TJ, I believe. Yeah, so it's like, basically. And it's also hard for me to forget what he did to Cruz, right? Like that masterful performance. Like I feel like that guy's still got to be in there. Like it hasn't been that long since then. But yeah, sorry, go ahead, Shaq.
Yeah, I was just gonna say shout out to Hannah M. Also, that's the thing with Cody, right? It's like so many of the pieces of the puzzle are there. It's just when you make that same mistake against Dillashaw, it feels like twice, and against Pedro Munoz, where when it's not going your way, you get caught up in this emotional brawl. Like that is such an exploitable hole, and it's a maturation thing, right? So if he can, because you're right, the performance against Dominic Cruz, you see when he's cool, calm, collected, charismatic, and having fun, he is a world beater. But what happens when it gets tough? And to this point, we haven't yet learned what happens, because the Sunsao fight wasn't too tough. I want to see a Rob Font that puts it on Cody, and I want to see how Cody responds, because that's going to tell me a lot more about where his upper limits are.
Yeah, and I think Font's the kind of guy that's like, he's going to put it on him. I think they're going to both be going for it. Like, and my Cody pick really is more circumstantial, like based on the position he's in. And like, but if I had to go based on like style versus style, who do I think is a little more well-rounded, who I think can maybe win the fight more different ways, I'd probably go Rob Font. Yeah. But I'm just in the position of like, if Cody is going to make a run, like he's got to do it right now. Otherwise, like, I don't know what happens if he loses this fight, even though it's to Rob Font, who's a very, very good fighter. So yeah, 100%. A lot of questions are going to get answered though, I think.
Yeah. But we are on the same page for the Yan Xiaonan pick. I just think she's terrific. She looks like she's just the next big thing in this division. But you know what? Credit where credit is due to Carla Esparza, the first ever UFC Women's Strawweight champion. Sort of quickly met her match in just a torture-like performance against Xiaonan Yan. She just put it on poor Esparza there.
Yeah.
But this has been a good comeback. This has been really impressive to see her at this stage of her career when a lot of us thought, like, more champion of circumstance than the true champ of the division. It's cool to see her in this position where she's probably next in line for a title if she wins.
Yeah, I think that could be said for either of them, probably, right? Great for Esparza, because because it was she was the inaugural champion, and then has it been Shevchenko ever since then? That's the only. Or sorry, wait, no, I'm getting confused. Am I getting confused in the weight classes right now? What am I talking about?
I was watching Justin Taffa get kicked to the nuts. Are we talking about strawweight?
Sorry, yeah, I was talking about. I got that confused with the flyweight for just
Nico Montagna, who also had a very terrible run as a tough title champion.
That's what I was getting confused, because it was Montano and then Shevchenko.
Yes.
Ever since. Yeah, and that's right, Esparza, and then you had Joanna, then Rose, then Andrade. That's right.
There we go. Back on track.
That's right. Back on track.
But it's funny though, those parallels that crossed my mind as I was talking about Esparza. I did have Nico on the brain.
Well, Nico, the only problem with her was like she just like wouldn't defend, right? Like there was like all those weird circumstances where she just like, it was similar to the Jermaine Durandamy situation at featherweight, but GDR has like totally redeemed herself since then, as far as I'm concerned, though.
Sorry, just getting my dog out of the garbage. Abby, can you come here? I'm on dog. Didn't even pick you up. Okay. So let's just say hi to the camera. This is the ball and chain of my life, Abby. Hi, say hi to the camera. She is a rescue from Taiwan. And,
wow.
She is a total diva, but we're working on it.
There you go. Cute dog.
Yes. Good girl. Okay, go do stuff. Other than digging through the garbage. Thank you. No, I see you eyeing the garbage. That's my bad. I gotta get that stuff off the floor. Man, I am shocked by the fact. Hey, did you like the Ben Rothwell, Chris Barnett fight? Was that everything you had hoped for Chris Barnett's debut?
You know what? Like, yeah, I'm down for those kind of fights. I know that, like, you know,
that was like the hardcore's main event today.
right. Like, I think like you need those kind of fights. It was actually kind of like this type of matchup that we just saw right here. I mean,
well,
like,
a little more sloppy, but yes.
Right, a little more sloppy. But that's like every now and then I'm okay with that. Kind of just like two guys just going, swinging for the fences, and Rothwell was just way more technical and like just, you know. But I had a good time watching that fight. I think most of MMA Twitter enjoyed that as well from what I was seeing. So.
Someone's asking what weight class the dog is. I guess Adam weight if we're gonna.
I don't know, 105.
As close as you're gonna get to it. But, yeah, she is a character. More bark than bite, but definitely a little bit of bite. Here we go. What am I trying to do? So I'll be honest. I wasn't watching this Tafa Bandera fight enough to give you a prediction on who won. All I know is both guys are worse for wear. Back to Chris Barnett though, dude. Listen, when it's 12 a.m. and I'm drunk outside the club, I just want some pizza. I just want a Big Mac. I'm not too worried. Actually, no, the order's a McDouble and a junior chicken. But I don't want something nice, right? Like we have Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt. That's a top level fight right there. Warm me up with this nonsense. Like Chris Barnett came in there on short notice, so I'll give him credit for what he was able to do in there with Ben Rothwell. They just staring at the floor, throwing haymakers over his head, but they were landing, and I'm shocked no one got knocked out.
Yeah, I think that if it stayed standing, I think Rothwell would have eventually knocked him out. I mean, he was like piecing him up pretty good. Yeah, especially and then with Barnett went for the single leg, so it was like pretty desperation move there, and Rothwell was like landing on the ground too, like he was punching him like on just unprotected shots to the face. What did he wind up locking him in with?
I don't even remember. I think it was just some sort of
guillotine.
Modified guillotine choke. Yeah.
Yeah,
guillotine.
I mean, it's cool to see Rothwell.
I'm saying like a high elbow guillotine. Yeah, it's nice to see Ben Rothwell in there. And honestly, I hope they give Chris Barnett another chance. He's got a lot of personality. He's very engaging. The fights are going to be fun. We were talking about this we're having a little debate about this on Twitter. I hated that they matched up Jack Hermanson with Edmund Shabazian, right? The one thing I'll give slack, I like UFC's matchmaking because for the most part, the idea is we're going to put the best against the best and we're just going to see what happens. Mm-hmm. I wish they would sometimes be a little lenient with that. Just pick a few key guys like an Edmund Shabazian that you see as a potential star and build them up the right way, because you saw how big the hole in his grappling game was against Derek Brunson, and then you immediately turn him around after he caught COVID, by the way, and you put him in there against Jack Hermanson, who, tough first round. Edmund looked great, but then Jack did exactly to him what Derek did, even got a 10-8 in round 3, and it really lowers Edmund Shabazian's stock. I just don't get why you're going to do that to him. He's so young. This is my thing. They did with Mickey Gall, too. It's like they sign these guys who are so young, who would probably have benefited from more development on the regional scene, and then they refuse to build them up in the right way. Look at how great look at the star power they have, like someone like AJ McKee, because they took their time with him. I just don't get what the rush is sometimes with the UFC.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're definitely not alone there, and I agree. It's just interesting kind of when you think about it, because you also have those guys like Sage Northcutt, who like I don't think was that good to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, but he looked the part really well, but then like he went in there against like okay opponents, so we weren't even really able to build him, but like you could tell they wanted to.
Yeah.
But then there are guys like Shabazian that like, because you would think, given his trajectory before the Brunson fight, they would have given him kind of more of like not a give me, but someone not on the level of Hermanson. So I totally see what you're saying. Yeah. Like because at the end of the day, one of those two guys is going to get knocked down pretty much out of contention with a loss. And
you know who I thought the right fight was? I thought it should have been Chris Weidman. Now, Chris Weidman pre this, I feel like it's enough of a grappling threat where we can see what Edmund's got, but it's not like, Chris Weidman's kind of shot at this point. So I thought if you were going to go the grappling route, because you still want to see what he has to give as a wrestler, and maybe you don't want to put him against a total nobody where it kind of kills both their momentums. I thought Chris Weidman made sense, and it gave Chris a chance to keep building his resume. But, just my 2 cents.
Makes sense.
Just my 2 cents there. Yeah, so this sucks. Like, I feel like it was a good comeback win for Jack Hermansson, so I love that. Jack's one of the nicest guys in the biz. I just don't know how much it does for him, and I don't think it did Edmund any favors whatsoever.
Yeah, and like Edmund looked really sharp on the feet. Like his striking is real crisp, and his ground and pound is really powerful as well. It's just Hermansson's just way better on the ground, and we've seen him do that to I remember his fight with Jacare and him
shocking, right?
Yeah, he almost put him. It's like such a rarely used move, but I caught it because it's so rare. But at one point when Hermansson was fighting Jacare, it looked like he was going for an Epsonator, which is basically a dragon sleeper in pro wrestling. And it's like,
so I think what actually happened is it started as a guillotine, and then Jacare ended up turning away from it, and then, like you said, he almost started locking in this dragon sleeper-esque hold. I remember it very fondly.
Yeah, and anyone who's going to even attempt going that direction, I'm going to be a fan of.
I've definitely picked his brain more on the Joker team because boy, do I love that submission.
Yeah. He's a wizard on the ground.
Oh, it's incredible. I can't break down. I'm not capable of breaking down Jack Hermansson's submissions here, but I would have loved to. He is sick. And let's do a little matchmaking while we have some time. What do you think is going to be next for Jack Hermansson? Let me pull up the rankings.
Ooh, I got them as well. Let me take a look here.
Why don't you start while I get this graphic up real quick?
Okay, so as far as who's available, because we have Vettori and Adesanya for the title. Do we have Costa and Cannonier? Is that
Costa and Cannonier is coming up? Yes.
Okay, so we don't.
Nothing more.
It's tough. Is Till booked with
Till? Till is booked to fight. Let me look at the rankings because I know he just got booked. Derek Brunson. It's Derek Brunson.
That's right. And Whitaker recently won. He's basically waiting out the winner of Adesanya and Vettori potentially, right?
Yeah, because he just beat Kelvin Gastelum.
Right. So yeah, really. Wow. Yeah, Hermansson's really in a no man's land right now. He'll probably wind up fighting someone ranked below him again.
So it depends. I don't know how many of those fights are coming up soon, but maybe there's a chance for him to fight the winner or loser of something, right? So,
That's true. Because
I don't know the timelines for these fights, but I'll take a look at something.
I'd like to see him fight either Costa or Cannonier, though. Win or lose, either of those guys would be interesting. I think.
I worry because Jack Hermansson got knocked the F out by Jared Cannonier, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was that wasn't that long ago. I guess it was a few years ago.
Yeah, but I'm sure. So he's the number 7, right? He's probably not going to move up. I think Darren Till versus Derek Brunson, by the way, is just chef's kiss matchmaking. They do a really good job at the upper level because you have in Derek Brunson a guy who seems to be in the best form of his career, ready to perhaps break away from that gatekeeper status. But we always get into this issue with him being hittable on the feet. Darren Till, similar kind of problem, except his issue traditionally has been the ground game at the higher level. So I feel like this is a great chance. They're ranked 5 and 6 respectively. I think Jack Hermansson versus Darren Till would be good. I know that was supposed to be the plan before Marvin Vettori stepped in and fought Jack Hermansson.
That's right.
I'll go. I think maybe the loser of those 2 fights.
Yeah,
that fight. Excuse me.
Those are good options. And Brunson's in a tough spot too because he basically has a very similar resume as someone like Vettori. He could have very well been right there, maybe getting a title shot with Adesanya based on what he's done recently too. So he's in a tough. He's almost like that Corey Anderson spot that he's always in, where he's right there in a title shot, but needs to win the number 1 contender fight, but then probably won't win that fight. Pretty much Bisping his whole career until he finally got the job done.
On short notice, right? So it pays to be available. Yeah, you know what? I think the UFC divisions are in a really healthy, interesting place right now. I don't want to call it a logjam, but there are so many contenders in multiple divisions and so many interesting matchups. If you just look at middleweight, you got Robert Whitaker, Paulo Costa, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier, Derek Brunson, Darren Till, Jack Hermansson, Uriah Hall. That's the top 8. And most of them are matched up, and the matchups are awesome. Paulo Costa versus Jared Cannonier, Adesanya, Vettori, Brunson, Till, Whitaker in the wings for a title shot. And that's the case everywhere, man. Featherweight, the top 10 is insane. It's Volkanovski, followed by Holloway, Ortega, Yair Rodriguez, Korean Zombie, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, Arnold Allen, Dan Ige, Edson Barboza, and Giga Chikadze.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Well, let's not forget, like, Zabit was in that and just retired, apparently, which, like, I am bummed about that. That guy is so damn good.
And let me give you two more. That's terrible, and it's a shame we'll never get that Zabit Yair fight they try to make about as many times as Habib Tony. Lightweight, you got Oliver at the top, and Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, Rafael dos Anjos, Dan Hooker. Felder just retired. By the way, if you didn't catch it, Paul Felder retired on the broadcast, so congrats to him and his wonderful career. So then that puts Islam Makhachev and Gregor Gillespie in the top 10. And then a welterweight, you got Usman on top, followed by Covington, Burns, Edwards, Wonderboy, Vicente Luque, Michael Chiesa, Jorge Masvidal, Neil Magny, Damian Maia, and Jeff Neal, and Nate Diaz is in the mix if he beats Leon. So there's just so many stacked divisions right now, and the possibilities are endless.
And you could have Nick in that mix as well, too, potentially, which would be crazy.
Yeah, it's wild how much star power the Diaz brothers still have.
Yeah.
I just hope if Nick Diaz comes back, he's got the right intentions in mind. Like, let's be honest, I think a world title fight is a little out of the way. Just go in there and do something fun. You know what I mean? Nate Diaz at welterweight, I'm also not super thrilled about his prospects, but I feel like Leon Edwards, while he's probably going to get outpointed here, is not the most dangerous matchup for Nate Diaz at this stage in his career. So I like the way Nate Diaz has been approaching his fight. Same with Jorge Masvidal. I just want Nick Diaz to make the right call when it comes to the matchmaking. Think more about how you're going to make money, less how am I going to get the title.
Yeah, I think that's probably more realistic. And I think Nate's actually going to beat Leon. Like, I know Leon should definitely be the favorite, and I get all that, but like, and I think if Nate gets it on the ground, like Leon's in for a long night if they hit the ground. Okay. So, but I think that's an interesting fight. But and I am a little biased. Like, Nick Diaz is my favorite fighter of all time. So like, I really just want to see him active again, doing anything. So I don't even care who it's against at this point. So
I agree wholeheartedly. Well, for me, it's like kind of a, and Jorge Masvidal had his chance, and he did deserve a title shot. I mean, definitely not the second one. We deserved a title shot at some point, I think.
Especially if you have that BMF title, like you gotta
100%.
Right.
And with Nick Diaz at this stage, I just feel like how many years do you have left on your career? Sort of judge if I go the route of trying to get to a title. How long is that going to take me? How long am I going to be able to hold it for? Is it worth the risk where I could perhaps just take fun fights and extend my career and keep cashing on the payday? Because you obviously get more money if you're the world champ, but realistically, what's the likelihood of that happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because that's like basically the spot that Poirier is in right now. Like, he's still in the mix for like definitely, like if he beats Conor in this trilogy, people are going to want to see him fight Oliveira for that belt. But like, he doesn't need to, like, he could make more money to fight Conor. He could make more money to fight other people potentially. And like, it's really what's most important for you at this point. Like, do you want to say you're a former champion? Like, maybe that's cool, but is it as cool as making like $10 million when you weren't making $1 million before that? Like, that's, so that's, I think, the decision that a lot of these guys, and I don't knock it, by the way, no matter what decision these guys and girls make, like,
yeah, for sure. More power to them. I just want everyone to get paid. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And shout out to Ron Patel, who also wishes Steven Jensen a happy birthday.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate it.
I just don't get why everyone's talking about you today. I'm not getting any love.
Happy birthday, Shaq.
When's your birthday? So Yan, September 22nd. But happy what's important now, Yan dived, like just shoots right out of the gate, immediately gets taken down by Esparza, sweeps the position, hunts a guillotine. Esparza ends back on top. This was not the right call, man. You're long. You got the striking advantage. If Esparza gets you down, she's probably going to hold you there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was definitely the wrong game plan right there. If I was going to pick Esparza to win this fight, it would have been because of her grappling, and I did pick Xiaonan because of her striking. So yeah, confusing strategy there.
And there was so much blood smeared across the floor.
That's that last fight, that heavyweight fight.
Yeah,
Toffa.
Yeah, that was bad, and it's. I think Edmund Shabazian got cut up.
Yeah,
pretty bad too. I remember I was talking to Kat Zingano at her Bellator debut, and we talked a little bit about her TKO loss to Megan Anderson. So what happened in that fight, for those who don't remember, Megan Anderson got a first round TKO win, but it was after she threw a head kick and her toenail grazed across Kat Zingano's eye. And I was talking to Kat about it, and I think it did have some permanent impact on her vision, not enough that she can't compete, but it took a lot of recovery and a lot of effort. And she was saying, Kat was telling me how she was just looking at the floor, and there had been like a really bloody fight before that, and she was just thinking about how nasty and grimy and bloody and sweaty that canvas was, and how that toe just went right into her eyeball.
Yeah, that is gross. It really is. And those little eye things are like no joke too. Like I've had my my cornea scratched before, like, and not like super bad, but bad enough that like I had to go like to the doctor, and like I couldn't be out in the light for a few days, and like this whole deal. And that's not me getting kicked in the face. Like I think a lot of times like MMA fans get angry when fights end because of like an eye poke or like something that doesn't look that serious, but it really can be super serious, and it doesn't even look like it. Like, man, I can't even imagine a toenail just getting me like that.
Can I tell you my concern here with Carla Esparza at the upper limit? So, granted, she's on a 4-fight winning streak, but let's look at the wins. 2 splits, 1 majority, and 1 unanimous decision in her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fight career in the UFC. She's got 1 finish. And it's the Ultimate Fighter finale against a very green Rose Namajunas.
Right.
It's not to say you can't be effective as like a wrestling heavy fighter, but what I think separates her from like Habib's and George St. Pierre's in that sense is like they can finish you. And if for some reason the takedown game doesn't work out for them, they have knockout power and they have submission threats, right? I've just about never seen that from Carla in the UFC. So when you fight someone who's good enough to not let you hold them down or take them down, what do you have to lean on?
That's a very good point. Because that's pretty much what's led to her losses. Is exactly that. Yeah.
It's like I just don't feel like there's an effective enough plan B. And to some degree, can't blame her. I'm sure she works really hard in all her skills. Some people just don't have quite the same level of knockout power, and maybe they don't have enough of a technical striking game to make up in that deficit, right? Like Adesanya, I think, is someone who can finish you and has power, but I think he mostly generates his power from his timing and his speed and his like technical superiority. Carla's never going to get to that level, and if she doesn't have the natural power, I struggle to understand what her backup is.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, because it'll be interesting to see what happens in this fight as this goes on, because obviously the next round's going to start standing. Well, Esparza's working an armbar, it looks like. Or Kimura actually, possibly.
Well, that's the beauty of the position, right? She can go for either there. And now she switched to the other arm. 20 seconds left. I say she goes for it.
Yeah, you got to go for it. Worst case scenario, she winds up on her back with 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is a great round. I think this is a 10-8 round for Esparza.
Yeah, if I was judging, I would give it a 10-8. I know that they don't hand those out. They don't. That's a whole other topic that, that'd be a whole other show in itself, the whole like scoring system for MMA. But, I really feel like there should be more 10-8s and more 10-7s and stuff.
So I think they've done a really good job of it tonight specifically. All 3 judges gave Jack Hermanson a 10-8 in round 3. All 3 judges gave Court McGee a 10-8 in round 2 versus Claudio Silva. They seem to be doing it right. I don't know about the overall judging, but they've been doing a really good job with the 10-8s. Like you said, during the existing system, it's not that you have to nearly finish someone. It's when it comes to effective striking and effective grappling, prioritizing immediate impact over cumulative, but considering both, was it close? Carla Esparza had 5 minutes of top control, which you don't even have to factor that in. She landed like 50 plus ground strikes compared to Jan's basically 0. She was working for arm bars. She got progressively farther from half guard to full mount. Those are all signs of effective grappling and striking, and Yan did nothing.
Ooh, she busted her with that elbow too.
Man, elbow cuts are gnarly because you can immediately see the gash as soon as that elbow lands on those slow-mos.
It really does.
And here we go. Yan coming out, second round, chilling out. Ooh, nice head kick followed by a right hand. And this is the right call, right? Take the center, keep her on the back foot. I am by no means a technical analyst, but I think we can discern this much as guys who watch the sport on a regular basis.
For sure. I think it's pretty clear. And as far as I might be a couple seconds ahead of you at this point, and bet right back to
it.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that might be a consequence of throwing the naked leg kicks, right? If you don't put a punch behind it or a punch ahead of it, Carla's just going to grab that sucker, especially the leg kicks and the body kicks.
Yes. Ooh,
very nice up kick, but here we go. Esparza again, and that cut's opened up pretty badly.
Yeah.
Man, like, I can't even be mad at Esparza, though. Like, this is so good, and if she can... It's so weird. This is one of those situations where, because of the way Esparza beats people, because she gets these decisions, split, majority unanimous, but she often doesn't feel close to a finish, it's kind of like a Lauren Murphy effect. Like, you get to a point where you just can't deny the person the title shot, but I'm always going to have her as the underdog, unfortunately.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people are.
That's a great example. Yeah, because the thing is, like, if Esparza could do this, like, if she could actually implement this type of game plan against someone like Xiaonan, like, actually get her to the ground, like, she really could be a legitimate contender again for that belt, like, with this kind of game plan.
But you just never know. You just never know. Every time this happens, I think it makes you think less of Esparza's opponent and not so much more of Esparza.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And I don't know. I'm not saying that's fair. I think Jan Blachowicz kind of suffered the same sort of treatment on his way up, but yeah, it's weird. I think maybe we're just enamored with the idea of finishes where you see someone knocking everyone out. You're like, oh, wow, that's a threat that'll work against everyone. But when you see this sort of top control, you're like, I feel like a champion would be more capable of avoiding this.
Right. She's got her in a crucifix now. Yeah.
The referee's going to stop this soon. This crucifix, and we've seen it exploited over the last few years. It's kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
Now, it's a legitimate position. It's hard to get, and you can't escape it. But if you get it and the person can't escape, it doesn't matter how hard you're hitting. The referee is going to step in at some point and be like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, the prime example is that Roy Nelson Kimbo fight from years ago. Yep, there it is.
Hey, she got the finish, so I guess it's time for me to shut up.
Hey, but it was, I mean, it wasn't a stone cold knockout or anything like that, but she kicked her ass. She grinded that win out. That was very impressive.
Carla Esparza via KO TKO was plus 1450.
Whew, wish I held on that. Oh man.
What a performance. But hey, I'm a bit of a believer now. I say if they're not going to run back Rose Whaley right away, it's time. Esparza has a win over Rose Namajunas.
Yeah.
Beat her for the inaugural UFC strawweight title. I think that story tells itself.
I'm down. Why not? Those elbows are vicious. She really took it to her. I mean, Yan didn't have it. She had nothing for her. Good stoppage by Peterson. He got right in there. She was done.
Wow, wonderful.
Whew.
Yeah, we've seen it so much lately, right? Roy Nelson Kimbo slice tough back in the day, but we saw with Daniel Cormier versus Volkan Oezdemir, Valentina Shevchenko on someone.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but I'll find it.
There was a really recent one also, wasn't there?
There was, and I think there might have been in Bellator pretty recently too. It was Valentina versus Caitlin Chukagian.
Yep.
And did she get Jessica Andrade in the crucifix as well? I know she got a ground and pound TKO.
I think so.
That's wild,
I think
man.
so.
That's wild. It is such a good position if you can get there.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to remember who that recent one was too. It might have actually been Shevchenko that I'm thinking of.
Josh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we are 0-1 for our predictions tonight. Guys, let us know in the chat. Font Garbrandt, who do you have in the main event coming up? Steven and I are split here. I'm going Font, he's going Garbrandt, but this is the kind of fight I like to see. I really feel like we're going to learn a lot about both of these guys tonight.
Yeah, totally agree.
Like, the Jack Hermanson, Edmund Shabazian thing, it's like that's exactly what I expected would happen. Or, if someone was going to win, this is exactly how it was going to be. Like, I don't know any more about Edmund's ground game, and I don't know how Jack's going to do against guys who can match his pressure, right? But Rob Font, Cody Garbrandt is going to tell me where these guys are at.
Yeah.
Xiaonan.
Good for her.
I love it, man. I was just putting on Twitter, I think you run back Carla Esparza, Rose Namajunas. There's a natural story built in there, right? They fought for the inaugural belt. Carla beat Rose. On top of that, both have had these awesome retribution arcs, right? Rose went from losing that fight all the way to beating Joanna as a big underdog, losing the title to Jessica Andrade, kind of struggling with her confidence and determination to be a champion, and then comes back and does what she did to Zhang Weili. And now you have Esparza, who, after losing to Joanna, I think in my eyes and a lot of fans' eyes, was just kind of thrown to the wayside. And now it's to a point where it's undeniable. She has a legitimate resume-based case for a title shot, and she's got the win versus Rose. I feel like this is a really cool way to tie the story together.
Yeah. I'm all for it. Do you think that they do? I know there's no way they could top the first fight, but do you think they do Zhang Weili and Joanna again?
Zhang Weili and Joanna. So last Dana White, after UFC 261, he seemed inclined to book a rematch between Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas. I think I get why. Rose, she wins again. You have a real North American star there. Zhang Weili obviously has a enormous following in China. And I'm a little sensitive to Zhang's loss. I think there's a ton of troubles with getting her coaches there.
Right.
It happened for all the Chinese fighters. I think she was definitely thrown off by all the booing that was coming her way all week. I think there were real excuses. At the end of the day, she lost the fight cleanly. I would like to see a Zhang Weili who has her corner the whole time in a bit of a friendlier environment, just to see. I can imagine those things getting to her the same way, fighting Jessica Andrade got to Rose Namajunas. That being said, she got KO'd quick. She did not have a long reign as champion. Carla Esparza deserves a title shot. I agree with you. Do Joanna Weili, because that's a great chance for Joanna to get back into the title picture, which is what she wants. I don't think she wants a long stretch there. So yeah, I say run back Xiaonan Yan. Why not? They're both primed in a position to do so. That'll determine the next title challenger. Give Carla the Rose fight, and then you have Marina Rodriguez, who you can give another fight to as well.
True. Boom. There you go.
There you go.
Got it all figured out for the division right there.
I play a lot of WMMA 4 and TEW. So.
All right, there you go.
Oh, back in the day. One moment. Who would you like to see fight for the strawweight title next?
Well, I mean, I'm down for Esparza. Yeah. Like, I mean, that totally makes sense. What you were saying totally makes sense, especially because they could run those video packages of her beating Rose and the Ultimate Fighter and all that stuff, and yeah, the story tells itself. And she's done enough. That's what 5 in a row now. I think she's won. So
yeah, and I think I'm maybe more sensitive to that than some fans are, but like, she deserves it. Too many of these fighters don't get what they deserve. Give her the title shot.
Yeah,
poor Glover Teixeira almost didn't get it, right? You know what I mean?
Thank God he is, though. I love that him and Blachowicz are fighting for that belt. I love that stylistic matchup there.
Would you like to see Glover retire, win, lose, or draw? Maybe not draw, but win, lose.
I mean, I think it'd be a cool story, like especially if he won. Because I really thought he was going to be the guy to beat John Jones back in the day. Like I was really on his hype train, and then Obviously, that didn't happen. But to see the way that because I thought he was pretty down and out. And then when he fought, I think it was Anthony Smith, when he fought him and like almost got finished and then wound up finishing Smith, I was like, okay, like he's still got a lot in the tank. And what he's done since, like, I think Teixeira is undeniably the number one contender. So I'm happy. I think he's definitely deserved his way back up there. That said, I think Blachowicz is an animal right now. I don't know if I'm probably picking Blachowicz to win, but I think Teixeira has a chance. Like if they're going to stand and bang, he's got a shot. So
yeah, it's this weird situation where I think Jan's got the better chin. I think he's got a little more power. I think he's a good enough wrestler and defensive grappler that he's not gonna succumb to Glover the way like Anthony Smith and Thiago Santos have. I think it's a really uphill climb for Glover, but I don't even need him to become champion. It'd be such a nice story. I just need him to get this title shot. He deserves this, if nothing else. You know what I mean?
For sure. And then, like you said, even if you retired on a win or a loss, like you're like, because even if you won the title, it'd be cool if you tried to go defend it, but your luck's eventually going to run out.
Yeah, like he's still hittable, dude. Like he was getting wrecked by Thiago Santos. He had a really tough first round against Anthony Smith. It's like for Glover Teixeira, it's this thing about his ability to endure and press forward and eventually get to the fight that he wants. I don't think he can do that to Jan Blachowicz. And if he does, how long is it going to last? How many times do you keep getting dropped, right? Like, I don't think if he wants to cash in on the paydays, then more power to him. But for his legacy, I don't think it can get any better. He's not going to go on a long stretch of dominance. The dude's like in his 40s, right? So
yeah,
like his time is winding down either way. So why keep going?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. I'm a big fan of his, so I'm happy. I'm happy to see him get back into this spot. But yeah, his luck will eventually run out if he keeps. I mean, because like you said, those fights with Santos and Smith, like there was a lot of doubt there for a second if he was going to pull through. So,
oh man, that nothing will ever. Like even the Chris Weidman leg break didn't disturb me as much as Anthony Smith in his corner saying, "My teeth are falling out." That might be the single most disturbing moment I've ever experienced. In a
like handed his coaches picked his teeth out of his mouth guard.
Oh. Yeah. Oh god, oh. Just like that was unheard of. I'd never experienced such a thing.
Yeah, badass though for like just fighting through it though.
Yeah. God, I can't. Did you see the video I posted on Twitter? I mean, not the first two, but those two. I don't know what the deal is, so I apologize. At first, I genuinely thought they were two children facing off, but it's like this miniature Habib. I think they call him.
Oh, that isn't children. I just saw scrolling my timeline. I just saw like a still image of what you're talking. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so
the video is pretty funny. So there's a gentleman. He's doing a little bit of a face off with these two very short men, and they have a really intense face off. Kind of like grabbing each, trying to clinch up. One throws a kick and slips, and comes in for a jab. But I genuinely thought when I posted it, they were two children. But it appears that they're 19 years old and they have some sort of condition, so they've remained at that small stature. And yeah, I think apparently they have a fight booked.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah, there's a differences in opinion about whether or not this kind of fight should be made. I don't know where I stand on it. I feel like if two people want to fight, they should be able to fight. I understand the idea of like, hey, you guys are profiting off making a mockery of these people, to which I'd say the MMA Carnival series that's been running has been doing it every week with all sorts of people. They've been having 3-on-1 fights, 600-pound man fights 145-pound woman.
Yeah.
So man, freak show fights are just a part of MMA.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff throughout history, like just these weird leagues. Like I remember this one league that was like, it was arm wrestling, but you could like kick each other and punch each other while you're trying to arm wrestle. You're like tied together by your arm. These guys are like throwing head kicks while they're like, there's been MMA companies that like you like wore armor and like had swords and stuff.
Yes,
but, like, would
yes, fighting.
Yeah. So and also, like, let's be honest, right? I mean, like, Aaron Carter is about to be fighting Lamar Odom. Like, we can't really be out here, like, judging, like, who should and shouldn't be allowed to be doing this stuff at this point. So,
yeah.
this is what it is.
Someone said something once that always stuck with me. I think it had to do with Greg Hardy in the UFC, and they said, if you can't fight for a living, what can you do?
Right. Yeah.
If nothing else, if you can't fight for a living, what can you do?
There you go.
So
that's a good point.
These guys want to scrap it. You should watch the video though; it's pretty entertaining. They are intense. They're intense. I'll send it to you in the chat actually.
Thank you. I'll check that out. And just for what it's worth, y'all, I think just because I brought it up, Lamar Odom is about to wash Aaron Carter. Like, it's about to be a bloodbath. Like, Lamar Odom was actually training in my brother's gym yesterday in Atlanta. My brother has a small boxing gym. Lamar Odom went in there last night and he like did a little bit of like light sparring, and I like heard a little bit about how he did, and people were saying he's actually looking pretty good. And then I saw a video of Aaron Carter the other day getting dropped by a body shot to some dude who looked like way less in shape than me. Like, I mean, it just not good. Here comes Garbrandt.
Yeah, Diplo's gonna fight. Like,
oh yeah, is that happening for real? Diplo's fighting.
Apparently, I don't think they've announced his opponent, but the rumors were he was going to fight at Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Okay. Well, see, I mean, if there's an audience for it, I guess. I mean, who am I to judge? But it's just like, it's just funny that there's there's such an audience for that stuff. But thank you. I just got your message, by the way.
ESPN's Brett Okamoto, shout out to most handsome man in MMA media, says that Kevin Lee will return at welterweight against Sean Brady.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Sure. Yeah. I like Lee at welterweight, though. I think that weight cut messes with his cardio and his overall ability, I think.
Bro, that head tattoo.
I forgot about that. The samurai helmet thing. Yeah.
Wild stuff. Hey, I'm excited for this fight, dude. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Thrilled to see how it all pans out.
No love,
Garbrandt.
Where does he fight now? Is he still out of? Is he still with Faber and those dudes, or doing his own thing now?
So he's kind of doing the TJ Dillashaw thing. We'll see if it results in any more drama. He's still a team alpha male, but he's also splitting some of his time, I think, with Henry Hooft over at Sanford MMA. Now, I don't remember that for sure. I heard it early on the broadcast. I want to say it was Henry Hooft, but are there any other Henry coaches? Or maybe Mark Henry, actually. I think it might be Mark Henry.
Not the WWE Mark Henry, for anyone listening to this. Different Mark Henry, yes. I know how that can be confusing. People are like, what, Mark Henry? Somebody go and get their ass kicked.
I would have loved to see Mark Henry.
Super heavyweight. He would have been good in, like, Pride. Like, no weight limit.
What do you have been?
Well, I mean, we saw.
He'd be a good fit, yeah.
Like, it's like, remember, like, Zulu and those dudes, like, Thomas Ramirez back in the day, the bus driver. Like, at one point, everyone was in there fighting.
Who do you think's got the better beard here, Cody? I mean, the physical facial hair. Are we going Cody Garbrandt or Rob Font?
I gotta see
Rob Font come out.
Yeah, I gotta see how Fonts is looking.
Just take a look. Coming out to some Rastafari music.
Yeah. I think Garbrandt came out to We Will Rock You. I think that's what I heard. Yeah, it's pretty played out.
You gotta have a little bit of creativity there. This is the right balance. Oh, it's Cody Garbrandt a mile away. Yeah, that's ugly.
Yeah, Garbrandt. Yep.
Well, Steven, if you want your balls to look like Cody Garbrandt's face, I got the deal of a lifetime for you. Manscaped. Flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and it's time to chop the weeds. Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped. You can trim your holes safely and efficiently, perhaps like the holes in Cody Garbrandt's striking game. I'm talking about ball trimmers, though. Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming, have an exclusive offer for you. Use code FIGHTFULMMA to get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Join the other 2 million men who trust Manscaped. They are here to make sure you are trimmed and smelling nice. After all, it's some spring cleaning, and we're headed to the summer. Hey, I got to tell you, man, I use it on my face. I use it on my balls. I make sure to sanitize it in between, but they got you covered. They got that skin-safe technology. I will say, candidly, never have I had so few, nothing's foolproof, but never have I had so few nicks and snags as with the Manscaped Weed Whacker and its 9,000 RPM motor power, 360-degree rotator, dual blade system. Hey, I'm going to leave it here because these ad reads are ginormous. 20% off plus free shipping. Code FightfulMMA at manscaped.com. Snag the ball deodorant. It keeps me in a relationship. Truly does. There we go. Did you snag one, Steven? Last I heard, we sold you on the ball deodorant.
No, you absolutely have. You absolutely sold me. I have not purchased it yet, but I will make sure to use the Fightful MMA code.
Hey, man.
So that
your friends are coming over today. It's your birthday.
Yeah.
It's been a lonely year and a half. Who knows what could happen tonight?
Yeah, we're
testosterone is fueling both of them. That makes your balls are clean.
Yeah, it's like me and my brother and like one of my friends. Yeah,
well, maybe not your brother. I don't want to do anything illegal here. But.
Me, my balls smelling good when I'm hanging with the homies. I do want to check the product out.
I don't know if I'm outing myself. I don't know if this is inappropriate, but me and some friends were hanging out. And I was like, they're all we were at like a little cabin in Airbnb. My girlfriend her family has a cabin, so they're going to take their shower, and I was trying to sell people, so I put on the Manscaped tee. I'm like, take this deodorant with you into the shower.
Nice.
Now everyone's hands are clean. No one's touching the deodorant and their balls at the same time, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't pass around that deodorant. So
there you go. Hell yeah.
Here we go, guys. Cody Garbrandt, Rob Font, main event, bantamweight contenders. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're like 3-4 in the division. Yes, they are. Sneaky, man. Rob Font is one of these guys I've always gravitated towards just based on his style, his attitude. He's all action, but he's technical. He's not doing spinning stuff for no reason. He's got a high output. He's defensively sound. For me, it's like the kind of aggressive approach, kind of like Corey Sandhagen, where it's not just fun and wild. It's not just the Chris Barnett thing. I'm really excited to see if he can take this next step.
Yeah. It's like we've been saying this whole time, man. Like this is going to answer a lot of questions. It really will. Like because it's like as wild as Garbrandt can be and as powerful and as fast as Garbrandt is, Font has very good head kicks, very good knees, his striking is very crisp. And these guys are going to take it to each other. I don't think this is going to be one of those boring, like them circling each other type fights. Like, so they're going to be going for the win here. Make a statement, I think.
All right. Now, before you get started, they're just going through the introductions. I'll be right back. Okay, Steven? So we're going to hold it down for us. People asking when it's starting right now.
Yeah, right now. Y'all made it. Daniel LaRusso is starting right now. Anyone else who's in the chat, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. Very, very much appreciated. Let me know in the chat who you guys have. When guys, girls, non-binary, we don't discriminate here. Anyone in the chat, let me know your picks here. I'll be looking here. You guys got Garbrandt, you guys got Font. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Really appreciate that too. We got 28 likes on the video. If we can pump that up a little bit, that'd be awesome as well. Thank you very much.
Appearing from behind the set.
There you go.
How did I do that?
I just watched the replay. Be doing that on my other monitor. So you guys got another delay.
Yeah, a little bit behind the movie magic here. Shout out to Diz Toro. We'll give him a pass in the super chat because I'm thrilled to get new MMA fans. Glad you're enjoying the show. I can promise you this is going to be a damn good fight. If you haven't seen Cody Garbrandt before, if you haven't seen Rob Font, this is the one. Guys, leave a super chat donation. Get your questions, comments, critiques, crap talk right on the air. We're only here for the next 25 minutes tops.
Knowing these guys, it could be way quicker.
Could be way quicker. I mean, you know me. I want a 4th or 5th round TKO. I want to enjoy the fight, and I want to see it finish. It's like sex, you don't
Yeah,
You know,
I got you.
You finish in 10 seconds. Sure, you can tell people you finished, but are you really satisfied?
That's I've heard Raven talking about booking wrestling matches in that way. He's like, if you're at home and you're just stroking, it's like, do you want to stop a few times and like, you know, get more into it, or you just want to do it all real quick? You gotta build that match up. You know what I mean?
I didn't put on this ball deodorant to see Cody bust on Font in 10 seconds. MMA. What a time.
Yeah, MMA.
Ooh, man. Big head kick from Cody Garbrandt. Rob Font blocks it, but like the speed and power with which he got that up there. At about the 4-minute mark, right?
Yeah, 3:55 right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the big intangibles for Cody is like he's just so fast. Like his punches and kicks, just the speed.
Rhea Hartley. Shout out to all the people in the chat tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you all
very much. Hit the subscribe
much.
button if you haven't already. Thumbs up.
Ding. Hit the notifications. Ding.
Ding, ding, ding. The only problem with StreamYard, it's not great for animation, so there's your throw. A lot of long jabs from Rob Font landing. Both guys exchanging leg kicks. I like Cody's approach, though. He's taking the center. He's not pushing too hard. But again, what's going to happen if he gets rocked, right?
Right.
That's the big question mark for me. So people are asking about the ad reads. Full disclosure, they send ad reads. I don't know if you have to follow them or not, but they send you ad reads with stuff to say about spring break and stuff, spring cleaning, yada, yada. But the rest is all me, man. Sean ain't the only one here who can cut a promo. Ooh, Cody got rocked a little bit there by 1-2 from Font, and now Rob is putting on the pressure.
He barely missed that uppercut.
Barely missed the uppercut. Did he slip?
I think that was a little bit of a scramble, I think, there. But Cody definitely got clipped.
And he stayed calm. For those who aren't super familiar with Cody Garbrandt, former bantamweight champion, when he gets rocked, he starts slinging with his hands low, and he gets dropped. Nice head movement, dodged an uppercut. This time, he got hurt a little bit. He stayed composed, circled off the fence, took the center again. This is exactly what we were hoping for.
Ooh, that was close. They both went for it there.
Yeah. Oh! That was almost an illegal head kick. Almost. And guys, chances are if you're watching this through illegal means, you're going to be about 20 seconds ahead of us. That's just the natural delay between our feed and the live stream hitting your feed. So can't do anything about that.
Front kick.
Ooh, nice front kick lands to Cody's chin, kind of with the toes a bit. He rushes, though, and Cody gets a double leg takedown.
This is part of Cody's game we don't see as often as you would think, considering Team Alpha Male and all the time he spent there. You know what I mean?
Agreed wholeheartedly. It's nice to see. Have the Venom shorts grown on you at all?
I think I like him better than the Reebok, but it isn't like that much different. But I will say that overall I am happy to see Venom instead of Reebok because they've always been like legit. That was close.
Whoa.
They've always been like legit. Even like their gloves and stuff are like high quality, like gloves to train with and stuff. You know what I mean?
But I love the head movement from both guys. They both go for it. Cody backed up to the fence, had his hand low, ready to recreate that a sunset moment. Rob wouldn't bite.
Ooh,
big 1-2 stuns Cody. Man, he's not great at taking a shot.
No, and his hands are getting lower.
Ooh, Rob Font with another 1-2. Cody the takedown, but this is it, right? How does he respond? Does he just turn to a firefight? No, he takes the easy takedown. That's super great to see.
Yes.
But it has become evident to me over time. And, Dillashaw hits hard, Rob Font hits hard, and Pedro Munoz hits hard. But Cody's beard isn't the best. He gets rocked often.
His beard isn't his chin.
No, his beard is nice. The chin isn't the best.
Right, yeah. That's funny.
Nice uppercuts.
Remember, that was a thing like way back in the day. Oof.
Oh, huge shot from Cody Garbrandt. Almost drops the mic off my desk.
I remember that being kind of a debate in like the MMA and boxing community like years ago. Like if you grew your beard out really thick, is that like creating padding? Yeah.
I think a Ilia Latifi-esque neck. Like you know those dudes whose heads and their shoulders are like it's just it's like a thumb. Their necks are so thick.
Yes.
I think that's the best thing because I feel like a neck is a good shock absorber.
It's a good point. Yeah. Remember like Jeff Monson looking dudes.
One of my all-time favorite knockdowns is Alexander Gustafsson in the Daniel Cormier fight. And what I find so fascinating, so it was a clinch to a knee that dropped Cormier. Normally, if you get someone in a Muay Thai clinch, right, you throw up the knee, you pull their head down. What Gustafsson did in that moment is he pulls the head down, he brings up the knee, but he lets go at the last second. And the reason he does that is because now all the impact, you have a knee and a head coming in opposite directions. So that's going to create a lot of impact. But on top of that, all the impact is going to stay in Cormier's body because Gustafsson's hands are no longer attached to Cormier's body. There's an idea there that if your hands are connected, your hands will actually absorb some of the impact. But he lets go so that all the impact starts at Cormier's head and goes down from there through Cormier's own body.
Wow. And then Cody with another takedown.
Hey, why not? If you can take the guy down, add that to your game, round it out.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
I bet
he wishes he would have done this against Munoz.
TSN's Aaron Bronstetter points there. Credit to. Okay, I don't agree. Shout out to New York Post Scott Fontana. Do not agree with him. I don't know how you scored that 10-9 for Garbrandt. Excuse me. Font rocked him twice. But love Scott. Shout out to the NY Post. And like Aaron said, credit to Cody for not getting dragged into the firefight. Sorry to cut you off there. Scott Fontana throwing me off there with that terrible take.
No, I don't think I
haven't had some.
Yeah, I'm just interested here because it looks like Font's kind of scrambling, but Garbrandt's top control has been really solid.
Yes, and Font's been able to get up to his feet for the most part, but his takedown defense has not been there.
Yeah. Trying to work a Kimura from the bottom, but that's a long shot.
That's a tough position. The way the direction he's leaning is really it makes it hard for him to pull Cody's arm out from his midsection. Now it's better. The more he can get to his back and extend.
He pretty much needs to roll him.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're calling for it. He sweeps him with the Kimura and uses it to get back up. Cody's team was mentioning it. When you're in side control and someone has a Kimura on you, you can circle to their other side and armbar him. So that's what his corner was calling for there.
Oh, straight left.
Oh, nice straight left. Seemed to hurt Cody a little bit. Rob Font trying to frame out for a knee to the head. Cody turns the knee to the body. Back to the center we go.
Font's jab has been landing.
Nice. He's always had such a phenomenal jab. Ooh, nice punch. Left hand sneaks through for Cody. Triple jab with a right hand. Man, Font's boxing. You love to see guys throw combinations like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's only so much I know Cody's got good cardio, but you can only it's like when you fight the Diaz brothers, I was talking about you just keep hitting them, even if it's light, that just throws your breathing off so much. It'll be interesting to see if Garbrandt's cardio gets screwed up.
Ooh, a nice left lands for Font. I think Cody's complaining about an eye poke, perhaps.
Yeah, he's fighting through it though, I guess. Another jab.
Nice shot lands. I'm loving Rob Font's pressure. He's cutting off the cage. He's taking the center. Ooh, those uppercuts are so sweet.
He's thrown 4 or 5 of them heavy so far. He hasn't landed yet, but if he lands one of those clean, what I think he's trying to do is time out that exactly. Garbrandt's shifting his head, but he is timing the duck.
Nice. Did you see that nice elbow on the inside for Rob Font? Yeah, Cody does that thing, right, where as soon as he gets wild and he gets wide with his base, it just starts dipping back and forth and throwing those looping shots. They both actually threw on, right? They both missed, but that's exactly how he got finished by TJ Dillashaw.
Yep.
And Pedro Munoz.
Yep.
I swear one of the corners just said Munoz. I wonder what that's code for.
Throw the game plan out the window.
So Font is nearly tripling Cody on strikes in the second round.
He's nearly triple him on the strikes in this round?
It's 21-8 right now. So he's on his way to tripling him.
Wow. I didn't think it was that one. I mean, I knew he was definitely landing more. I didn't realize it was that one-sided.
Yeah. Ooh, nice. Man, feints the double jab and lands hard with that straight right.
Those combos are crisp.
Ooh. Yeah, Font read that takedown attempt.
Yep. Yeah, it's easily Font's round
There you go. I got that 2-0 for Rob Font.
Yep, same here. Everyone watching right now, what do y'all think? What are you thinking heading into the third? So we got like 50 people in here, give or take. Thanks for joining us tonight, y'all.
Yes. Love having you guys here. Let us know how you scored this fight. I think you and I both have a 2018 for Font, right?
That's correct. I'm actually grabbing another soda or seltzer.
Go for it, man.
I'll be right back.
I am so lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. Cody Garbrandt, great to see him round out his game like this. And this is a weird situation because it's not even thus far so much a matter of him getting dropped or knocked down for getting wild. He's just mostly getting outclassed on the feet. So interesting dilemma for him.
Like if Garbrandt can't get these takedowns anymore, like he basically just needs to load up for a. I mean,
so let me, because I've been having this debate a lot online lately. My understanding of the judging criteria: you prioritize effective striking and grappling. If you can discern who had the more effective striking and grappling, you don't at all take into account aggression or octagon control or any of that stuff. Effective striking and grappling is considered for striking. Effective striking that is leading in the direction of ending the fight with immediately impactful shots outweighing cumulative. So big knockdown is weighted more than 20 jabs. For grappling, it's the natural progression towards a finish. So if you can get from half guard to mount, that's a progression towards the finish. If you can get a rear naked choke attempt, that's heading towards a finish. But for me, some people mentioned the takedown. Did the takedown significantly lead towards Cody finishing the fight? A little bit, because he got a takedown, he maintained position. But is that nearly as much as the immediate impact of Rob Font rocking Cody twice? I don't think so. So I think it's a very obvious 10-9 in the first.
Yeah. And I get the whole takedown octagon control argument too, but if that doesn't weigh as heavily as, because I tend to lean more your way, like you're saying, Shaq. Like if there's a fight that like if someone gets a takedown, fighter A gets a good takedown for like half the round, but fighter B drops fighter A, like fighter B won the round. Yeah.
Listen, the criteria is confusing. Ooh, Rob Font landed that wicked uppercut, but Cody ate it pretty well.
Now Font's got back control. Well, not Roy control, but yeah.
The dog is excited about my enthusiasm in here. Like, what's going on? Hey, sweetie. How's it going?
Got like a bear hug on him, almost.
Yeah, now Font in the dominant grappling position.
Let's get a foot stomp.
Jorge Masvidal is rolling in his proverbial grave right about now. That was a wild knot. To see Jorge Masvidal knocked out like that by Kamaru Usman was just wild. Font goes for a body lock takedown, but Cody kind of rolls out of it. Font settles into kind of a standing position over Cody, shots to the body, and we're back standing. Cody needs a knockout.
Yeah,
at this rate, he's being outclassed on the feet. The grappling edge is gone over time.
I'm sitting at 140. Where are you at?
Oh, somehow I fell about 10 seconds behind. I worry that you say that because I feel like something bad happened.
No, I'm going to pause mine for just a second so that we're a little bit closer. I'm still up at 130.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Sorry, 128.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Okay, cool. It's like they're standing up from a takedown.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Cody landed a hard punch on Font earlier in that around the 145 mark.
Yeah. And then went for a takedown also, right? But it just didn't.
Oh, exchanging jabs. Cody's lands a bit harder. Ooh, big shot to the body. That looked like it kind of hurt Cody, and I think he's getting frustrated. He's kind of waving Rob Font in for the firefight, and Rob's not interested.
I think that'd be smart. More of those body shots. Oh, unless Cody can land a hook. Ugh.
Very nice stuff. People are asking who's winning the fight. For those who can't watch, Steven and I thus far have it 2-0 for Rob Font. I'm leading Rob Font in the third as well. Steven?
Yeah, up to this point, Rob Font as well.
Yeah, Cody's been relying more on his wrestling. It was effective in the first. It was less effective in the second, even less effective in the third. Both guys are landing, but Rob Font, I think, about tripled Garbrandt's output in the second. He's got a 30-12 edge right now in the third. So, yeah, Rob Font's really leading the dance here. Cody's going to need a knockout at this rate. Font's doing such a nice job of not overcommitting. He throws these 3-4 punch combinations at range and then steps back out. He doesn't go for anything unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, all right, that's under the third. Whew, yeah, we're really in territory where, yeah, Garbrandt definitely needs a finish at this point.
Here, I'll be right back. I'm going to give my dog her dinner real quick.
Yeah, go for it. All right, in the chat, how y'all seeing this? You guys got it 3 rounds to 0 for Font as well. It's been a pretty good fight though. Font's just been running away with it though. So Cody's hanging in there.
And I am back.
Boom.
Yes, she's I'll tell my personal life story. She's a great dog, but she's a rescue and she's quite territorial around the house. So we've been working on it. Neighbors have like painters coming in and out all over the place, and so she's been like barking at their noise outside. And as much as we can, if we can't like really control the environment, which my girlfriend couldn't today because she had to study, we don't want her in situations that are gonna agitate her because we want as many of the encounters with strangers, especially around the house, to be positive. So I decided to just bring her here and avoid that entirely.
That makes sense.
Yeah. It was pretty good. We took her out there. We did some clicker training. She ate some treats out of the painter's hand. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's on her way. The hardest part is when you're not prepared for a situation, because that kind of just sets you back, right? You want like a really high % of good encounters and just try and avoid the bad ones entirely. So it kind of kills this stigma. It's like every time she barks at something, it just kind of takes you back a little step.
Yeah.
But she's a good dog.
Yeah, she'll be good with people.
Yeah, some of the chat agrees with us 30-27. Some see it 29-28. Everyone agrees though Font is definitely running this show. Dude, this is a badass Rob Font. I want to see this Rob Font fight Cody Garbrandt or something. Or sorry, excuse me.
We're seeing it right now.
No, a quote. God, I'm all over the place. Rob Font, Corey Sandhagen. That is the fight I want to see. Yes. Oh, snap that jab right into Cody's nose. Dude, Cody's face is all messed up. Oh, big leaping left hand Lancerant for for Garbrandt. God, can you tell I did not get much sleep last night?
No, I mean, the winner of this Well, I think so. Sandhagen and Dillashaw winner will probably fight the winner of Yan and Sterling, yes. Right? So the winner of this will be right behind that, and like you said, probably fight the win, like maybe even the loser of that other fight. Like the winner of this is probably one win away from a title shot.
100%. You just have to see how the division matches up. I'd say the winner of this probably gets like the loser of Yan Sterling,
yeah,
or the loser of Dillashaw Sandhagen, something like that. But they're right up there.
Yeah.
There are definitely people in the chat who are still enough on the Cody bandwagon that they think he might be able to pull out the upset knockout.
Yeah, I don't know about a surprise submission like I'm seeing in the chat right now, but I mean, that would be wild. That would be wild. Pulls out like a go-go Plata. What? Font going, man.
Tricky. Threw up the front kick as a feint and then stepped in with a 1-2 that landed hard against Cody's skull.
Nice body shot back to the head.
He mixes it up so nicely, and there's never one punch. That was like a 5-punch combination to the head and body.
Oh, man. He's getting so close with these like uppercut attempts.
Close. Yeah, it's shocking one hasn't hit harder than it has.
So with all these body shots he's throwing, now Garbrandt's kind of like trying to decide if he wants to cover his face or protect his body, and like Font, if he can just time it.
I can't. Oh, big, long right hand lands for Font. I can't imagine how frustrating this must be if you're Cody.
Yeah, just basically getting out.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Like it probably feels. Ooh. Oh man, Cody leaned right into a head kick and ate it.
That's so close. Still getting jabbed in the face over and over.
Dude, his face is pasted with blood. That nose is all busted up. Like, when you get knocked out, you think to yourself, okay, you know what? If I just shore up the defense, I'll be fine. But like, Cody's got no answer for what Rob Font is presenting at this point. Everything's been shut down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's slower. He's gun shy, I think, at this point, because he doesn't know.
Oh, a jab with a hard step in right straight.
Went for the takedown, didn't even come close. I mean, Garbrandt's a sitting duck. He literally just needs to wind up and just swing as hard as he can. I mean, just blindly at this point.
Wild stuff. We got 40 seconds left in round number 4. Rob Font still leading this dance. And, I'm not going to call this a 10-8 round, but the rounds have gotten progressively more and more and more one-sided.
And kind of like we were saying, if it became more and more normal, like a 10-8 makes sense. You know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, but
I'd like to, I hope and I know the judges don't have this benefit. I'd love to see the strike total right now.
Right.
Because in terms of this is one of those things where the immediate impact of the strikes aren't as much, but the cumulative impact is. And I'd love to know what that total was.
Yeah. And what's the total for Garbrandt? Like, what's the discrepancy between the two? Because it's got to be huge at this point. Man, he got real lucky that head kick didn't land. Like, he kind of caught the knee a little bit, but that was like, whew. Rob Font's looking damn good, though. Like, this is a hell of a performance.
Agree wholeheartedly. Yeah. At this rate, he's going to either get a finish or he's going to get a certain 10-8 round, I think.
Yeah.
Are you going to call that a 10-8 or a 10-9? With the information
I'm gonna call it a 10-9. Yeah. But like if we saw 10-8s a little more often on those kind of situations, but I just don't think that's what they'll actually score it. So
yeah, I'm having trouble because I think I know you can't really math it out like this, but if I'm gonna call like round 1 a 10-9 for Font, I gotta call round 4 10-8. I think
that's how it's. See, that's the thing with the problem with the whole scoring system is like there's so many 10-9s that are so much more dominant than other 10-9s.
Let's be the change that we want to see.
Okay,
I'm gonna call it the 10-8. I'm gonna call it a 10-8.
I'm good with that. And it would have been, and it wouldn't be a 10-8 if Garbrandt was able to land more often. It just seemed like he did, right. It seemed like he had nothing all around, and Font was landing pretty much at will.
So this is one of the instances where I'd say, you know what, Garbrandt, be that old gunslinger.
Yep.
Because at this point, there's no point in being this technical. Like, it's not working. Oh, he landed a big right hand.
Okay, he's throwing.
He's throwing hard now, and he's landing on Font repeatedly.
Whew. Nice. The only thing going for Garbrandt right now, I think, is he might have a little confidence that Font hasn't been able to finish him yet. He might think he doesn't have the power to finish him, and he might just bite down and swing.
And I want to give credit to Font because he weathered that storm. He got hit with a few really hard shots, and he immediately responds by taking the center and throwing a big combination of strikes.
Yep.
But he goes right back to work, and it's so pressure heavy. He's not giving Cody a chance to settle into a rhythm of offense. If you're Cody, though, and I see this happen a lot, I feel like fighters stick to a game plan, and they wait until the 5th round of it not working to make an adjustment. If you're down 2 rounds going into a 5-rounder, it's time to start making the adjustments for round 3. And if you don't, round 4, you need to forget what you've been doing and go to plan B entirely.
100%.
Oh, big overhand right for Cody Garbrandt.
So, but like to your exact point, though, like had he done that in like the 3rd round, not the 5th, he might have had a little more on that punch. Yeah.
Rob Font, those jabs are so sweet.
He's looking incredible. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Rob Font either. Like, I know I chose Cody to win and all, but like Font is, I mean, this is what you want to see out of a guy who could potentially be a contender. I mean, this is really, yeah. Ooh, nice uppercut.
The huge uppercut finally lands, and it looked like it kind of stumbled Cody there.
Yeah. Cody's got a hell of a chin.
I'm shocked by his ability to eat these the way he has.
Wow. Just threw him.
Hey, Rob Font caught a kick from Cody and just hucked his ass back into the cage.
Yeet.
Yeah. To our point, people in the comments are mentioning how a lot of fighters seem to wait a really long time before making adjustments in the fights.
It's true.
We still have people who believe in Cody. The time is winding down, my friend.
Yeah, he really. I mean, his hands are low. I mean, he really looks like a Sun South fight right now. As far as like I mean, he's loading up for something. So, see if he feels like he has the opportunity to. The second Font swings, he's got to swing back. Just. Whew.
Ooh, nice shot lands. For Cody Garbrandt, Font responds with a jab. And then stick around at the conclusion of the main event for some breaking news, guys.
Oh, okay.
1 minute, 45 seconds. Man, I love these like long looping body shots that Font has been connecting with from start to finish.
Yeah, just technical. Sorry, go ahead, Chad. Yeah.
I was going to say, this is the right idea, though. Cody's pressing forward, throwing his big punches. Like, this is all you... Oh! Fought with a huge right hook, just as I say that.
And then he just missed that uppercut. He's missed that uppercut by, like, an inch a few times now. That would have been, like, game over, I think, if he would have landed.
Another double jab with the right straight. Another right straight. I love that with 1 minute left and a clear decision went ahead of him, Font is still going for it.
Yeah, he could easily just backpedal and just take the decision at this point. But you're right, he's still going for it.
Yeah, well, he feels it, man. Cody doesn't seem to have anything for him. And, if it ain't broken, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? This strategy isn't working for him.
Well, especially in a company where, like, the management can be fickle at times. Like, if they, you know what I mean? If they know that you, like, let off the gas, they might not be as inclined to, like, want you to do bigger fights.
Double jab. Oh, there's some blood on the UFC camera, actually.
That's
Rob Font, at this point, probably about 180 significant strikes, 183. Personal best up from 117.
Oh, wow.
I can't believe Cody's taken nearly 200 of these.
Oh, that was his last chance right there.
Cody Garbrandt goes for a spinning back fist. Font ducks under, ends up on the bottom of the guard, but too little, too late.
So it's
Look at that.
It's like 50-44 for us then.
I've got that 50-44 for Rob Font.
Yeah. That's I expect 50-44s, 50-45s. There might be a 49. There might be a 49-45 in there, depending if
or 49-46.
Yeah.
But we know without a doubt who's got this dub.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, there's some serious problems with the.
So did you guys? I'm sure you guys saw this. Shout out to UFC MMA judge Sal D'Amato for actually speaking to the media for once on MMA Junkie Radio. I guess there are a lot of people outraged that Sal D'Amato and Chris Lee, but I mean, I know Chris Lee is a terrible judge, so not really helping his case here. But they gave Michael Chandler 10-8 in the fight against Charles Oliveira. Now, I would have had it 10-9, but do you think it's so egregious that they gave it 10-8 Chandler?
No, I don't have a giant problem with that. I mean, he almost finished him. He came very close to finishing the fight, so I actually don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right, let me get this graphic up.
The way that people kind of, while you're doing that, people need to kind of also understand, like, it's almost the concept of, and the reason that I want more 10-8s and stuff is the whole idea is winner of the round gets 10. You're the other fighter is automatically going to get 9 or lower. Like, that's just how it's set up. So, like, if you're getting dropped and almost finished, you got to drop at least to an 8, you know?
Yeah, we were saying, oh, well, Charles had like the ground control and the back take and everything. I'm like, okay, if you're going to make that argument, though, he never came close to getting a rear naked choke. Chandler, I'd argue, was tighter on the guillotine than Oliveira was on the rear naked.
Yeah, unanimous decision.
I missed the scores.
So did I. We'll see it on the Sorry I Was Talking, I think.
No, so was I. But we'll get it soon. Guys, we got some news, so hold up one sec before you tune out of the podcast. But let me get this graphic up real quick.
You got it.
UFC 27. All right, what's your next dream fight for? I know we have to wait for the division to clear up, but just if you could cherry pick anyone, who do you want to see Rob Font fight next?
I would say, kind of like we were saying earlier, I think the most sense would be let Yan and Sterling play out, let Dillashaw and Sandhagen play out, and I would do Rob Font versus the loser of Yan and Sterling.
I think that's the right call. I just think Sandhagen versus Font would be great. All right, shout out to Jay. He says, oh my God, someone gave it 48-47 for Font. Someone gave Cody Garbrandt 2 of those rounds.
We got to double check. Not that I don't believe you, Jay, but like that's how could you give Garbrandt 2 of those rounds?
Yeah, I will double check right now.
I understand. I understand the first round. Like I get the I disagree, but I see that. I can but where else would he have won a round?
Shocking.
He says he had to rewind it to check. Yeah. Wow.
Official decision 48-47, 50-45, 50-45. Wow. That is horrible. But here we are. The right man won. That's all that matters. Guys, time for some news. I guess I'll break it now because there is no watch-along live stream, but I am leaving Fightful at the end of the month. You got Steven here today. We had a couple weeks ago. That's because Steven Jensen, you'll be taking over the watch-along live streams every Saturday here on Fightful Pro Wrestling. Hey, I think you're going to kill it, man. You've done a terrific job on these. I'm happy that we got to do these together for a little bit, but, I take the reins and I pass them to you, my man.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate all the kind words and the hospitality, and it's great that we got to do one of these streams when I wasn't sick. Like the last few times we did this were just the worst timing ever for those 2 days for some reason, and I'm glad we got a good one. And I've appreciated you having me on the 1-2 punch and all that stuff. So thank you very much, Shaq. I very much appreciate it, and good luck and everything for your future endeavors. But I know what you've been doing. I know what you've been working on. I've been seeing the work, and I know it's just bigger and better things for you. And I appreciate the opportunity to kind of take over the reins here. So
yes, for sure, man. And I'm still the editor until the end of the month. So you guys will see my work throughout the week. There will be one last episode of 1-2 Punch on Fightful Select. But yeah, no event next week. So we are winding down here. It's been terrific. I want to give a shout out to Sean, of course. He's been a wonderful guy to work for. The Fightful community has been so kind and wonderful and embracing. So thank you for that. Follow me at Shaq Fu. I'll have an update sometime this week on what's next. I'm very excited. I'll be around. I'll be working. I'll be grinding. But yeah, that's that. Steven, they're going to be able to find you every Saturday moving forward here, just about. But let the people know where they can find you for the time being.
It's going to be Twitter at @FightTalk_, FIGHTTALK_. If you enjoy professional wrestling and you want to check out independentwrestling.tv or IWTV.live, it's the same website, but you can use code FightTalk there, and that helps me out for my personal podcast, which is called the Fight Talk Podcast. Been doing live chats on YouTube with Jesse Davin and Doug Bateman and stuff, and I do my my MMA show on Mondays with my buddy John Mosley. So everything that I do, I try to keep updated on my Twitter, and I got a link in my bio. So that's the easiest way to keep up with the stuff I'm doing, and I look forward to seeing y'all more often here on these watch-alongs and doing more stuff with Fightful MMA. And once again, Shaq, thank you. Honestly, man, thank you very much for everything the last few times we've been able to do these. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and hey, I don't think I'll be super occupied on fight nights, so maybe the pay-per-views, but I'm looking forward to being on the other side of this live stream sooner or later. Like I said, guys, follow me at Shaq Fu on Twitter. Most importantly, though, I'm still a Fightful employee for the time being, so subscribe to Fightful Pro Wrestling. Head over to Fightful MMA. Subscribe there. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. We thank you guys so much. I can't do it much longer, so got to hit that crappy outro. Stay tuned for everything Fightful and so delightful. Peace out.